It is just gone 8 o'clock on the dot, Central African time here at Eswatini TV. Welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. We're coming to you live from our Hospital Hill studios. My name is Sunny Boy Ngongwane, and compliments of the new season. Here's a quick look at news making headlines this evening. Her Majesty the Queen Mother continues to lead the nation in dancing the Lutu Ingwala at Eswatini Royal Residence. 140 companies have benefited from the unpaid layoff relief fund. Now the news in detail. The Ingaja regiment from the Hoho region has arrived at Ngabezweni Royal Residence after being dispatched by His Majesty King Mswati III at Buhleni Royal Residence on Monday.
The regiment arrived safely at Ngabezweni Royal Residence after being dispatched by His Majesty the King on Monday afternoon to embark on a trek from Buhleni Royal Residence to Ngabezweni Royal Residence. The young men from different chiefdoms in the whole region were warned by His Majesty to adhere to all COVID-19 safety precautions and to maintain physical distancing at all times. Strong measures which have been put in place by their Majesties to protect the regiment from the pandemic include mass rapid testing for COVID, the distribution of free face masks which were presented to the regiment, and a sharp decrease in the number of Dingaja who are participating in this year's Ingwala ceremony. Dingaja from across the country are now on standby and waiting to be commissioned by His Majesty King, and this is expected to take place at Ngabezweni Royal Residence. On the news, I'm Sandile Makanya reporting from Ngabezweni Royal Residence.
Her Majesty the Queen Mother continues to lead the Maswati in dancing the Lutu Ingwala, and Ingaja from various chiefdoms have also arrived at Eswatini Royal Residence.
The Liti Ingwala continues to be a great success at Eswatini Royal Residence, whereby regiments are led by Her Majesty the Queen Mother. The Ingwala is continuing under the COVID-19 regulations, and their Majesties have commanded that everyone is safe while attending the Ingwala. Also present at Eswatini Royal Residence were the Makosigati to His Majesty, the royal family and members of the cabinet, just to name a few. Ingaja from different chiefdoms have also started arriving at Eswatini Royal Residence and now ready to be commissioned by His Majesty King Mswati III to go get Lusegwane. On the news, I'm Polile Mazia with Tabiso Dlamini at Eswatini Royal Residence.
There are 140 companies that have benefited from the unpaid layoff relief fund. This was said by the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Labour Commissioner Mthunzi Shabango. We have a report.
The increase in the number of employers who have applied in the unpaid layoff relief fund comes after the Management Committee announced on December 16 that companies should apply, where 5 more companies applied, adding to the 135 companies which applied earlier on. Labour Commissioner Mthunzi Shabango says more than 22,000 employees have received their grants, while over 90 million emalangeni has been spent to compensate workers that have been laid off. Shabango says employees have also appeared before the committee where they inquire if their employers have applied for the grant.
Quite a number of employees did show up as well to lodge their complaints with the committee, saying they were laid off at a certain period since the commencement of the national emergency in April, and their employers apparently have not applied that they be compensated for that period when they were on layoff. So we did receive quite a number of those complaints from individual employees who are coming from, for instance, the figure that we have here, it's 11 companies wherein their employees came forth to the committee to lodge their complaints. And these complaints were referred to the Office of the Commissioner of Labour to actually follow up with the relevant employers and urge them or encourage them to do what is right, being to apply for the layoff, obtain the approval, and then so that they can be able to forward their claims to the committee for processing and payment, Mr. Ndlangamandla.
Shabangu also added that in January 2021, the committee will continue to accept applications from employers. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Ndlangamandla, Mbabane.
The Ministry of Tinkundla and Regional Development has mourned the passing of Shiselweni Regional Administrator Dr. Vincent Mhlanga. Now, the Undersecretary in the Ministry, Sibusiso Msibi, says Mhlanga's leadership will be missed, especially in the fight against COVID-19 in the region.
The Ministry of Tinkundla has passed its heartfelt condolences to the Shiselweni region and the entire Kingdom of Eswatini on the passing of the Shiselweni Regional Administrator, Dr. Vincent Mhlanga. The Ministry of Tinkundla Undersecretary Sibusiso Msibi says Dr. Mhlanga's sudden death is a great loss to all, as he was prepared to see the country moving forward and was passionate in ensuring that activities that would bring development in the region and country were accomplished.
Bayakhala nanyalo ikakhulu labo la sebenze nabo edudane esifundzeni.
We are saddened by the passing of the Shiselweni Regional Administrator, Dr. Mhlanga. He has worked diligently in different sectors in the country. He hasn't been with the ministry for a long time, but he has greatly contributed to achieving sustainable development, and for that we will forever be grateful.
As a ministry, we are very, very thankful for his contributions.
Dr. Vincent Mhlanga passed on last week at a hospital in the Republic of South Africa. He was appointed as the Shiselweni Regional Administrator in April last year. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Temalang Ndlamini with Musim Konda in Babane.
The High Court has granted bail of 5 suspects in the murder of Ncedo Dlamini, who was allegedly forced to ingest 2 weevil tablets. Now, the accused have been granted 50,000 bail each, and the court has ordered that they pay 3,000 cash and provide 47,000 worth of surety.
The 5 accused persons in the matter are Derek Dlamini, Sandile Shongwe, Aaron Motsa, Godfrey Shongwe, and Vanzile Masego. They first made their remand appearance at the Mbabane Magistrates Court. They stand accused of the murder of Ncedo Dlamini, whom they allegedly forced to ingest 2 weevil tablets. They are also accused of attempting to murder Temingosi Mamba, who they allegedly also forced to ingest 2 weevil tablets. The court advised the suspects to apply for bail at the High Court in the event they wanted same. In their bail application, which they filed today, the accused persons said they would plead not guilty to the charges they face. In his founding affidavit, Derek denied intentionally killing and attempting to kill anyone, adding that he had evidence to this effect. Derek alleged that on December 26, as community members, they confronted 2 members of a notorious gang at the area. He alleged that the gang terrorized members of the community by invading their homesteads, robbing them of their possessions, unnecessarily viciously assaulted them, and used violence, among other things. Derek alleged that the 2 gang leaders became violent towards them and threatened to assault them with bush knives, whereafter a scuffle ensued and the gang members were injured. He also alleged that the following day they voluntarily went to the Mbabane police station, where they were detained and charged with murder and attempted murder. Derek told the court that he was innocent of the charges against him, as he did not intentionally kill or attempt to kill anyone, as he and his co-accused acted in self-defense. He alleged that they were under threat with his co-accused and had a reasonable apprehension that the gang members were going to kill them with the bush knives. Derek's co-accused narrated the same version of what allegedly unfolded on the 26th of December. The Crown did not oppose the bail application. It set bail at 50,000 emalangeni per person, 3,000 emalangeni being cash or 47,000 emalangeni being surety. The accused are represented by Noncedo Dlangamandla, and Sibusiso Gama stands for the Crown. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela, High Court.
The High Court has granted bail to Bongmusa Kunene in a matter where he stands accused of the rape of a 29-year-old woman at Bush Camp Lodge at Mhlumeni. The alleged incident is said to have happened on the 19th of December. However, Kunene denies it. He was granted bail set at 15,000 emalangeni.
Bongmusa Kunene, aged 27, was granted bail after he told the court that he will plead not guilty to the charge leveled against him. In his bail application, Kunene submitted to the court that he handed himself over to the Sitegi police on the 23rd of December, where he was arrested for contravening the Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Act. Kunene submitted that the police informed him that he did this by allegedly raping a 29-year-old woman at Bush Camp Lodge, where he is employed as a security guard. He submitted that he was taken to the Sitegi Magistrates Court, where he was advised to apply for bail at the High Court. Kunene submitted that he would plead not guilty to this charge and any other lesser charge that may be put to him. He alleged that the sexual act was consensual, and this was initiated by the purported survivor at her own volition. Kunene submitted to the court that he was a breadwinner in his family and took care of his sickly mother and two siblings. It was his further submission that his continued incarceration affected him and his family negatively, as he would be fired for absenteeism at work. Kunene pleaded with the court to grant him bail set at 1,000 emalangeni, as that was what he could afford. The court, however, granted him bail set at 15,000 emalangeni in order that he pay 2,000 emalangeni cash. Kunene is represented by Vukani Ngumalo, while Sibusiso Gama stands for the Crown. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela, High Court.
A very strong dacha smell and an undeclared large sum of money found in a Honda Fit at the border has made the Supreme Court to rule in favor of the Crown in a matter in which it sought a preservation order for the vehicle. The High Court had ruled against the Crown based on that the dacha smell was not proof enough that the car was purchased through proceeds of crime. The High Court had also said that the smell could have been from smoking of the habit-forming herb.
Linda Makakula was arrested at the Ngwenya border post after he was found to be carrying over 20,000 emalangeni, which was stashed inside door panels of a Honda Fit. Inside the car, police say they detected an acrid smell of dacha. This made them believe that the car was instrumental in the selling of dacha. They also believed that the money was proceeds of crime. The Crown then approached the High Court praying for a preservation order for the car and money through the Prevention of Organized Crime Act. The High Court dismissed this application on the grounds that it was not proven beyond reasonable doubt that the smell was from selling dacha. The High Court noted that the smell could also mean that someone smoked the habit-forming herb in the car. The Crown then appealed this decision at the Supreme Court, where it argued that the vehicle served as a drug-dealing business. The Crown brought evidence that Makakula used to go in and out of the country through the border. It also submitted new information to the effect that the investigating team found a bucket full of dacha in Makakula's bedroom, which the accused identified as his. The court then found that the vehicle constituted an instrumentality of drug-dealing offences and that the cash constituted proceeds of crime. Makakula had earlier submitted that the Honda Fit had been purchased from one Sahid Abu Talib, whom he had not finished paying. The Crown argued that Abu Talib's interest in the vehicle was of no relevance to the granting of the preservation order, but would be considered in the forfeiture application. The Supreme Court then ruled that the appeal be upheld, the High Court ruling on the matter be set aside. It also ruled that any person with knowledge of the order be prohibited from dealing in any manner whatsoever with the over 20,000 emalangeni found in the car. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela, High Court.
The Voluntary Medical Male Circumcision Unit in the Ministry of Health has announced 12 health facilities that will be used for circumcision in the country. The facilities were announced by the Communications Officer, Piwa Mlambo.
In 2009, the government of Eswatini introduced a 5-year strategy to increase medical male circumcision with the aim of reaching 80% of males, including newborns, by 2015. It is estimated that achieving this target would reduce the HIV virus in Eswatini by 70% by 2025, preventing new infections by 64,000. During the outbreak of COVID-19 in the country, the voluntary medical male circumcision was stopped in the country, and the male circumcision team in the country visited the health facilities to check if the facilities had the necessary precautions to prevent and ensure that patients are protected from COVID-19. The Voluntary Medical Male Circumcision Communications Officer, Piwa Mlambo, explained on which hospitals are ready to provide the services.
We did that in the facilities that in the country, and almost all of the facilities were ready to resume the VMC services. It's only one facility that didn't do well in the assessment, which is Stobela Health Center, but we're working with that facility to ensure that it resumes services. So the facilities that we have that did well in the assessment are in the Manzini region. We've got Mankayane Government Hospital, in RFM Government Hospital, and also Litsembalet for Men's Clinic, which is in Matsapa, and the Miracle Campus in Stogoto. And in the Lubombo region, we have Pixbeck Government Hospital, we've got Mkhuzweni Health Center, we've got Fokolago Health Center, then we also have Mbabane Wellness Clinic.
Mlambo encourages parents to encourage their children on the importance of circumcision. The Voluntary Medical Male Circumcision will also collaborate with the Khulisa Umfana organization to encourage circumcision within the country. Reporting, I'm Temalangen Dlamini with Mizim Konda, Lobamba.
And now on breaking news, His Majesty King Mswati III has danced Ingwala at Ngabezweni Royal residence after welcoming Dingaja from the Hoho region.
His Majesty King Mswati III has arrived back at Ngabezweni Royal Residence, where he has danced in Kuala together with regiments from Buhleni Royal Residence, Mpumalanga Royal Residence, and those that he commissioned at Buhleni on Monday. Tomorrow it is expected that regiments from Eswatini royal residence will join other regiments here at Ngabezweni to join His Majesty in song and dance and to further witness the King commissioning the Tingache regiment. On the news, I am Sandila Makanya reporting from Ngabezweni royal residence.
The Eswatini emergency services had a torrid time this festive season. According to Wandile Mthembu, they mostly attended to road accidents, trauma cases, among other leading incidents this festive season. Now our reporter Temalang Lamini has filed this report.
The emergency medical services in the country continues to provide assistance to those who need help in different circumstances. The Emergency Medical Services Communications Officer, Wandile Mthembu, says during this festive from Christmas, they attended to more than 200 cases, which include road accidents, assault cases, amongst others. He says the service does its best to reach out to all Eswatini in need, but they're faced with challenges with the high demand that has been brought by COVID-19.
Ambulance service,
people in the Kingdom of Eswatini are getting the necessary help from 977. We are sometimes faced with challenges, especially during this period of COVID-19, whereby a lot of people need to be attended to, but we ensure we attend to all critical situations.
Mthembu urges Eswatini to use the National Health toll-free line 977 in case of emergencies. Reporting, I'm Demalang Dlamini with Muslim Konda in Babani.
This year, 2020, has seen a drastic decrease in the number of cases and cash stolen involving stokvels. According to police spokesperson Pindile Vilagati, this year alone, there was a single case where 13,000 was stolen, while last year, about 100,000 Malangeni was stolen.
Yearly around this time of the year, there are stokvel cases where members are reported to have lost cash they have been saving since the beginning of the year. But this year, the country has seen a major decrease. In such cases, Chief Police Information and Communications Officer, Superintendent Pindile Vilagati, says the lone incident occurred in the Lubombo region. Superintendent Vilagati says in the year 2018 and 2019, about 200,000 stokvel money was stolen, where there were also other cases related to stokvel associations. She also explains why there is decrease in such cases this year.
The previous year, which is 2019, we have 2 cases that were reported, and money stolen was about 120,000 Emalangen. The other year, which is 2018, we had more than 20 cases, more than 3 cases, and the money that disappeared there was close to 100,000 Emalangeni. And on addition, we also lost a soul there, which is one person who hanged himself as a result of losing money for such things. So we appreciate everyone who took part in educating the people on how to keep money or how to save money safer and how to distribute our money safer, which include associations such as Bank Association, FSRA, and other associations that took part in this. We also encourage people the coming year to make use of the financial institutions, saving money there and also distributing money using those institutions because it is very safe.
Stokvel Association members in December usually report that they have lost their savings while buying items in towns, while in some instances, the treasurer of the association usually disappeared with the money. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
Following the ban of alcohol enabling South Africa starting from Monday midnight, Eswatini National Liquor Association Secretary Thamsanqa Hlatswago has pleaded with community leaders to ensure that imbibers adhere to COVID-19 regulations, especially those regarding alcohol consumption, so that it will not be banned in the country as well.
The country has been hit hard by COVID-19 second wave as of Monday. For the first time since its outbreak, the country recorded 203 COVID-19 positive cases. Most countries that have been hit by the second wave, including South Africa, has banned the sale of alcohol as it is believed that alcohol is one of the super spreaders of COVID-19, as Zimbabweans do not adhere to COVID-19 regulations. Eswatini National Liquor Association Secretary General Thamsanqa Hlatshwayo has pleaded with imbibers to adhere to all COVID-19 regulation, and he also asked community and zone leaders to ensure that there is no floating of the regulations.
If we only look at the police as the implementation of the laws of the country, it becomes a problem in terms of maintaining the pandemic that we have. Because the most important part is educating the people. And the best people to assist us are the community leaders. That is those in the urban areas and those in the rural areas. These are the most important people that would assist us to fight this pandemic. Because as liquor traders, we would sell the liquor, and once the person is out of our premises, we have no control in that person making a party or drinking in groups. But leaders would be able to assist, and we could also assist as part of those communities.
Eswatini government has not yet taken a decision on alcohol sale ban, despite the increase on positive cases and the people dying from the virus. Should the country ban the sale of alcohol, it will not be for the first time, as it was banned in July. However, in October, the ban was lifted. For now, alcohol sale is on Mondays to Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Babane.
Welcome back, and now on our sports news. Mbabane Swallows captain Tony Tabetse says it's the responsibility of the senior players to guide and help youngsters in the team to adapt to Swallows' style of play. We have a report.
Mbabane Swallows is one of the local football clubs within the Premier League with promising young talented stars. According to club captain Tony Tabetse, senior players at the club have a big responsibility of assisting in developing those young stars for the future of the club.
Bafana believe ukuthi they can play for Mbabane Swallows, perform for Mbabane Swallows. So ngicabanga ukuthi sitawenda yonke indlela inside.
Tabetse adds on to say that even the new faces at the club deserve a chance to learn about the tradition of the club and how things work at Swallows.
Players will come up and help the team. I-pressure ihlala ikhona, especially uma udlala team lefana noMbabane Swallows. So sizama ukuthi the new players sizama ukuthi instill the winning mentality. Once we have that, we believe ukuthi star khona ukuthi win the league.
In the new season of the 2020-2021, Swallows has played 2 games so far, drawing one against defending champions Young Buffaloes and being defeated in the second one against Manzini Wanderers. For Eswatini TV Sports, for Bisumsonera, Mbabane.
The Premier League of Eswatini has announced that the 2020-2021 Premier League season will resume on the 17th of January 2021. The league says the main reason for postponing the games that were scheduled to resume this coming weekend is to assist clubs with their preparations and to ensure that they do conduct COVID-19 tests for their players before returning to the field of play. Now, Eswatini, that brings us to the end of our news bulletin at 8. But before we go, here's a quick look at news making headlines this evening. Her Majesty the Queen Mother continues to lead the nation in dancing the Lutu Ingwala at Lutsitsini Royal Residence. 140 companies have benefited from the unpaid layoff relief fund. Eswatini, that brings us to the end of our news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV, live from our Hospital Hill studios in Mbabane. Before we go, we shall cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the transmission team. Do have yourselves a good night.
Everywhere you go, MTN.